Hi, it's Wyndham. When is the best time to fix a hole in the roof? I think we'd all agree that the best time to fix a hole in the roof is the moment we get a hole in the roof. But that isn't what happens. So when is the second best time to fix a hole in the roof? Well, the second best time is the moment we become aware we have a problem. Just before Christmas, my mum sent me a text saying, I've noticed a water stain on the roof. When you come down in a few days, would you mind going up and having a look? There's unfortunately nobody else is available between now and then. I'd really appreciate it because I'm afraid I need a new roof. So I go down a few days later, stick my head up into the roof, small hole, soaking down a beam, and that's why there's a water stain. She doesn't need a new roof. But for the period between seeing the water stain and me going down as a non-roofing expert, I did make this clear to her, by the way. She didn't just she got a second opinion afterwards. But between that period where she had seen the stain and I went down, her mind was full of the anxiety that she was going to need to spend thousands and thousands of pounds on a new roof. So why am I asking you about when the best time to fix a roof is? When is the best time for you to create change in your life? I think you probably can tell where this is going. The best time to create change is the moment it becomes necessary. But that isn't what happens for the vast majority of us. And there's a distinct difference between fixing a material problem like a hole in the roof and creating change in our lives. And the problem is we don't very often create change at the second most advantageous moment. So the second most advantageous moment to create change in our life is when we become aware of the symptoms of the problem. So, spoken about it recently, that could be a growing sense of disengagement, disillusionment, disconnection, demotivation. In any area of our life, we are aware of this growing sense of unhappiness and we still don't act. And the reason we don't act, spoken about this before as well, we are incredibly resilient. Our hardwired survival blueprint isn't triggered because we are surviving. We don't need, in inverted commas, to change anything because our old thinking, this deeply embedded blueprint of survival, doesn't get triggered. So we continue. And as we continue, in the same way that if we left a hole in the roof, well, things get worse. Right? The hole in the roof isn't miraculously going to heal itself, going to fix itself. And how we feel in our life isn't miraculously going to change. It takes intervention. It takes, what's the word I'm looking for? It takes intentional action. So when is the best time to create change in your life? Right now. Right now. The moment you sit there and say to yourself, there's got to be more to this existence than what I'm currently experiencing. That's the time. But how do we do it? Well, I firmly believe we have three options whenever it comes to this question of change. The first is we don't do anything. That is an option. I did nothing for 20 years, so zero judgment from me. It doesn't help. It doesn't move us forward. It keeps us in the paralysis loop I spoke about last week. Second option, we start to do things on our own. You know, the self-help industry is vast. We can spend hours listening to podcasts. We can watch content on YouTube. You're doing so right this moment. We can find ways to help change our perspective. And you know what? If we are committed to that, over time, we will start to create change. It is an adventure we can go on our own. I can guarantee you it's going to take a while, because we cannot see our own blind spots. We cannot see or know the things that we don't know. But it is an option. Travel, do the adventure on your own. The third option, which is the option we would take if we had a hole in the roof, or we had a problem with our car, or we were medically unwell, get help. Find someone who you can see can help you. Maybe they've been through the process themselves. Maybe they had 20 years of not being able to get out of this paralysis loop. Find people who believe you can do what it is you need to do, who 100% believe you deserve to live the life you really want to live. Walk by their side, pick their brains, pay for their services, invest in yourself in exactly the same way you would invest in a new roof. There is nothing more important than investing in yourself, especially if you are in that paralysis loop, if you are at this point where you can see the symptoms and you're just holding back, you're just feeling this sense of uncertainty and fear about taking the step forward. You will not create what you want until you intentionally step towards it. And in not intentionally taking action, that leak in the roof is getting bigger. I leave you with that. If there's a hole in your roof and you can see the signs, the time to act is right now. I wish you a peaceful and joyful few days, and I will speak to you soon.